Good afternoon. Welcome to Quarantine with John and Orgasmic Conscious Cooking. I wanted to jump in here because it's kind of funny. A friend of mine, a coworker of mine, a friend of mine, Rhea Dumont, sent this picture on, I think it was Instagram, and she was making this grapefruit pound cake. And I was like, oh my God. And so she was trying to do it with gluten-free flour. So she tried that, but I was like, well, first I want to try this recipe so I can share it with you guys. And it turns out I'm going to actually show you how that's going to be one of the classes I'm going to teach. Actually in Zoom, and then I'll put it on YouTube, whatever, and you guys get to learn how to make something delicious and different. So today what I'm making is a grapefruit pound cake, olive oil pound cake. Usually pound cakes they use with butter. But the reason that I read the recipe that they use olive oil, the olive oil cuts the bitterness of the grapefruit and it gives a really enjoyable flavor, and it's different. So I was like, it caught my eye. My wife and I love different types of pound cakes and breads, and so I was like, what the hell, let's try this. Real quick, so you see a little bit of what I've done already. This is my pound cake dish. Now they were asking for a bread dish, but I prefer the round dish, and so it says it needs to cook for an hour to 45 minutes. I'm gonna start checking it after about 35 minutes because it's more space, more volume. This is actually powdered sugar and grapefruit juice, and this is the glaze that'll go on top of the cake at the very end. When the cake comes out of the oven, I had to sit here and make this syrup, and you'll poke holes in the top of the cake, and you'll pour the syrup over the pound cake. So we're gonna get started. I have in here, I don't know if you can see in here, I have olive oil and raw sugar. It called for raw sugar. And I'm gonna mix that up, and I'm gonna add my eggs. And I'm gonna show you how I do this, and then I'll take a break and I'll show you how to put it in the pan. But what happens, this has been mixing, and I've been scraping the walls of the sugar with olive oil. So the first thing I'm gonna add is my hefty, friendly eggs. Now the secret about eggs is that you want them to actually stay room temperature so they can expand. And one of the things I'm gonna do, I always turn down the mixer so it doesn't splash up on me. So I pour the egg in. So far what's in there is a cup of raw sugar. You have half a cup of olive oil, and there's 2 eggs to go in here. This is my favorite KitchenAid. I've had this KitchenAid probably for like over, my God, probably 20 years. I've had this mixer, KitchenAid. I'm selling this for you guys, so you guys can show me some love too. I had a problem with it. The motor went out. I sent it to KitchenAid. They sent it back, put a new motor in, and it runs like me. It's hefty and it's hardy and it works real hard, but it has a lot of fun. So I add 1 egg. I'm gonna add the second egg. Now what you want to do is make sure you don't drop your spoon down in there. When I was younger and I was cooking, I would do that. So I'm gonna turn this up because I want this to get very light. What I prefer about the KitchenAid is that it whips things, it puts more air into the eggs and the sugar and the olive oil. If you can see this. And that's what it looks like inside. And this is the base that you want to get this really smooth and creamy. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate the buttermilk, which has 2 tablespoons of grapefruit juice in it, and the flour, baking powder, baking soda, and salt. I'm gonna alternate, put it back and forth, and it's just the chemical mixture with that, which actually makes a yummy pound cake. My mom showed me how to do that. And at the very end, what I'm gonna do is I add a little vanilla, like a capful of vanilla, because I like that back door vanilla. I like that back door. It's conscious. But anyway, back door, don't get dirty mind out there. Back door basketball, you close the back door, then you go to the hoop. My wife's on the other side going, ooh wee. No, it's not that type of cooking show. Well, it could be though. If Dane came on, maybe we do it that way. But anyway, I'm gonna slow this down. And what I'm going to do is, we'll use the spoon I have here. I'm gonna place half of the flour in here. Very gentle, because you don't want this to jump out of the bowl. You want it to all go into the cake. see that? Oh my God, it's looking delicious inside. So what I'm going to do is pour half of the buttermilk and grapefruit juice. Half of that. Turn it up a little bit so it can mix on the side of the walls of the bowl. Pretty much, I'm almost done. I wish you could smell it. I can smell the grapefruit. It's doing its thing. Turn this down. Put the rest of this in here. Voila. That's what it looks like inside. Take a look. We'll turn that up for you. And voila, there you go. That's your pound cake. Oh, so what I like to do at the very end, like I said, I'm at a cap full of vanilla. I prefer the bourbon vanilla and alcohol. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scrape the sides and I'm gonna show you how to put it in the bowl. Okay, now it's very smooth. It's ready to go into the baking dish. I scrape the walls down, make sure it's all mixed. Look at the bottom, it's mixed at the very bottom. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour this in a circular motion so it actually is even. So what I want to do is make sure that it's all even. And what I want to do is try to prevent it from the round funnel area of that, because if it gets up on the funnel, sometimes it'll have a tendency of burning. You can smell the burning, but it won't hurt the cake at all. It just will alarm you like something's burning. So I'm scraping this out. When I was a kid, my mom did this. I would love getting to this bowl, but buttermilk's not my favorite thing, so I'm not gonna put my finger in there, so it ain't happening. Sorry, Mom. Those days have passed for me. I really don't like the batter of anything. I used to eat the batter of like waffle and pancake. Ugh, gross. Now, I just eat the cake and the waffles. Get this all off the spatula. You never get 100% of it out, so don't worry about it. I'm gonna let it drip a little bit more, and that's it. This is what it looks like, okay? And I'll show you pictures once it comes out. I'm gonna put this in the oven, and it's gonna bake at in the center rack, and it'll bake for 350 degrees for, it's supposed to be an hour to 45 minutes, but because it's a larger pan, I'm gonna do it for 30 minutes to 35 minutes, and I'll check it. And what I'll do is, the way I check it, I use these handy toothpicks, and I take the toothpick and I'll push it into the cake, and if it comes out clean, guess what? It's time to come out of the pan and go in the dish and get some of its syrup poured all over it, and yummy, yummy syrup. And then when it cools, we'll put the glaze on it. So you got finished product. You saw me bake it earlier. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my toothpick, I'll make holes in it because I want this syrup to actually soak into the cake. So I'm gonna make a lot of little different holes in the cake, so it has a lot of ease and joy going into the cake and giving it more flavor than it ever imagined. Let's see. I think that'll be there. I'll leave that toothpick there. Take my spoon out. Let's push this all over the cake. The syrup will absorb into this warm cake. Take it out of the nooks and crannies. Make sure it gets all in here. This is my first time doing this, people, so I don't know what it's going to turn out like, but Usually I have Pamela Marie's Luck, that's my mom. And the kitchen is like Rick Jensen's art studio for me. This is where I get magical. And so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna come back after a while, let this cool, let this syrup hopefully soak down into. Now the syrup was the sugar. It was 2 tablespoons of raw sugar and half a cup of grapefruit juice. And it looks and smells marvelous, you guys. I wish you could be in this kitchen so you could smell this. So we'll see what happens. Voila. Grapefruit pound cake in the kitchen. First time out, guys. First time. So here's the piece. This is what I'm gonna share with you about consciousness. We have this situation right now in our country with this virus, and I know it's serious from some people, but I want to challenge you to get into your creative mode. My creative mode is the kitchen. I've been blessed by my mom, my grandmother, Mrs. Magnon, roommate at Club Med. I picked up this knack and I love it. It's my art. I was telling my wife yesterday or this morning, I was like, you know, the ironic thing about this coronavirus is that it has pulled out more creativity for me in the kitchen. And I really want to share that with other people. And so that's what really sparks me to do this first time out. And one of the things, if you're not worried about getting it wrong, now I'm going to tell you, on the other side of the camera, Tori will tell you, sometimes I freak out if things don't go right for me in the kitchen. But I'm learning to let go, because here's a quick story. Sourdough bread was a mistake. That's another story. It was a mistake. That's a multi-million-dollar industry right now. So get in the kitchen. One, it'll be a lot more healthy. You'll be able to control your oils. You'll be able to control the fats, control the sugars. You can eat organic vegetables, and it's cheaper to eat at home than at a restaurant. I love restaurants. I like eating at the Ritz. I love eating at, what's my favorite restaurant in Portland right now? It's the Maestra in Camas. High-end Mexican food. I like that type of stuff. But also, I know how to throw down in the kitchen. And one of the things is that actually the other piece is you want to be aware who's cooking your food, because energy is everywhere. It's everywhere. And if somebody's having a bad day and they're not able to pay their bills and work, that might be going in your food. So to restaurants and other people out there, let's take care of each other. I'll see you guys soon when I finish this cake up. Peace and blessings. This is it. Let me turn this down. I'm doing 2 things at one time in the kitchen today. I got a soup that's going on. So this is almost at the gravy. This is the icing that goes on top of the cake. So what I'm gonna just spoon it on top of this. So all it is, you're gonna spoon this. You want it to drizzle down the side of the cake. You're gonna put it all on there. It's gonna do its thing.
What's in it?
It's powdered sugar and grapefruit juice. This is a really grapefruit. I've never had anything like it. I was like, it must be pretty good. And voila. From the kitchen of organic conscious cooking, John Ashford. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next time.